who don't know about our Prometheans, I'm just going to briefly explain that our Prometheans are the top 10% of our senior class. And so in lieu of a single valedictorian, San Marino High School honors our Prometheans, right? Our select group of seniors who are honored at graduation for their outstanding contributions to our school and our community over 4 years. And so academically, they are, you know, the cream of the crop, but also what exemplifies our Prometheans is that they have the heart for their community, for their fellow students. They're leaders on their campus amongst their peers, and they just exhibit like so much dedication, you know, in the form of community service. And so, so with that, you know, I just wanted to introduce first and foremost our MC for this event, Mr. Mitch Lehman, and he's here with us. He's here, and so if we could give him a round of applause, yay! I'm going to cede the floor to him. Hey, Mr. Lehman.
He's mute.
Mitch, you're on mute.
Would never have been selected for. This is my way. This is now my 9th time that I've been chosen to be a Promethean, and I'm really happy about each and every one of them. Speaking about being happy about something, Tom Hindle, Joe Hindle's brother, just texted me and said, looking rather spiffy today, Mitch. I'll use the English accent that I'm sure Tom is typing this in. Thank you very much, Tom. Maybe you shouldn't know that I'm wearing volleyball shorts and flip-flops underneath the shirt and tie, but that doesn't matter in today's Zoom era at all. And while we truly, everybody here today is a VIP, I want to introduce you to some of the other VIPs. They might be VVIPs, very, very important people. Number one is Superintendent of the San Marino Unified School District. Where is Dr. Jeff Wilson?
Hello, hey everybody, I'm right here. Thank you so much, Mitch, and thanks to everybody who put this together.
You're very welcome. Dr. Isaac Gates. Let's get all these doctors we have at the top of the list. There's Dr. Isaac Gates. We all remember him. And we have got our school board president, C. Joseph Chang. Where is C. Joseph Chang?
Hi, everyone. I'm honored to be here.
Nice to see you. You've already met Dr. Suman Chow. And I would like to introduce also the school board vice president of school board, Mrs. Shelley Ryan. Shelley.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
The school board clerk, Mr. Corey Barbary. Corey.
Hello, everybody. Congratulations.
Welcome. School board member, Mrs. Lisa Link. Hello, Lisa. You there, Lisa? She's saying hello in her own little way. And school board member, he's already been on, Mr. Chris Norgard. Hello, Chris. And now Dr. Wilson has a few comments for you. Dr. Wilson.
Good afternoon, Prometheans. Congratulations on this prestigious award that recognizes your outstanding achievement, engagement, and value to San Marino High School. One thing is certain, our Titan class of 2020 will truly have unique stories to tell of their final days of high school. Movies will be made and books written about this wild time, and the stories around all of this will be told at your class reunions every decade. Class of 2020, you've been resilient, adaptable, and empathetic for the plight of your classmates. You've demonstrated love for your school, teachers, and community. You have led through your achievements, your actions, and your attitudes. And I just want you to know we are so very proud of you and your accomplishments. You are an outstanding group of young scholars and future leaders. You have much to be proud of, as do your parents and families and friends. You are today and forever will be Prometheans. Congratulations, San Marino High School Class of 2020 Prometheans.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. And I want to point out also, I believe very much within the 1 hour time limit, 1 minute time limit that we were given. So very, very 2 thumbs up. I want to see if this next speaker can stay within the 1 minute time limit. Because he has probably as much trouble as I do. Dr. Isaac Gates. Welcome, Dr. Gates.
Thank you, Mitch. I've been practicing. So good afternoon. It's exciting to see you all. Congratulations, Prometheans. Brave, selfless, resilient, intelligent, strong-willed, creative, inventive, and most importantly, kind are just a few characteristics that describe the Titan Prometheus. The Titan Prometheus. These are all traits that you all embody, and I so look forward to celebrating you this afternoon. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Gates. And now our school board president, C. Joseph Chang. And I think, Joseph, are you the father of at least one Promethean? I'm not sure. Maybe you can fill us in on that. And I believe this is your fourth term as school board president. Welcome. I think he's the longest serving school board member in the history of San Marino. C. Joseph
I'm
Chang.
the fifth term, yeah, fifth term, not the fourth term.
Fifth term. Are you the father of Promethean?
Not this year, yeah, before, yeah.
Oh, you have. So tell us about that. Which one of your sons, or both of them?
I think one of, yeah, the Patrick, yeah.
Oh, good for
Yeah.
him. Okay, well, I already talked about Joe Hindle. Joe is going to Kenyon. Kenyon is where my dad went. So, Joe, I want you to know that the academic bar between you and me is set very, very low. I'm sure that you can do that, but a really, really great school. This week also is interesting, but I got them up right here, but the academic awards were passed out for the CIF athletes, and Pooja Balaji, who is also one of the Prometheans. Pooja is San Marino's female representative for academic excellence to the CIF. And so I was talking to the athletic director, David Erie. I said, was Pooja's name put in for the teams? And he says, yeah, we put Pooja's name in for cross country and track, which she participates in. But they also put her down for football, basketball, baseball, anything to get everybody else's grade point averages up. But San Marino did very, very well. Pooja has done very well, and Pooja, good luck to you at MIT. And I know I saw Kimia's name on here, Kimia Hasibi. Kimia, glad that you decided not to go to Chicago and stay here in warm, sunny California and attend Caltech. So very, very good for you. I am proud to be hosting what I'm guessing is the 1,000th Zoom meeting of your young lives. And if there's any term from the coronavirus era that I hope to never hear again, it's Zoom meeting. It's right up there with new normal, abundance of caution, and don't touch your face. I never realized how often I touch my face until I was told never to touch my face again. And I have no idea why. I have a lot of ideas why I'm told not to touch my face. However, I don't know why I have this habit of touching my face. As you might have guessed, you have the proud distinction of being the first group of Prometheans to be honored virtually. And there's another term that I can do without. Typically, the Prometheans breakfast is held right up here across the street from the Tribune. They close down Mission Street, and Julienne Restaurant hosts a private brunch with Belgian waffles, a boba fountain, omelet bar, and a carving station. Okay, that's not true. And I don't need to remind you of more things that you're missing. It's actually held right there in the San Marino High School cafeteria. But where the event is held doesn't matter, even if it's in front of a computer screen in your living room. It is really all about you and not about the breakfast. And if there's one particular group of seniors who will endure through the terrible circumstances of this pandemic and tolerate a little bad joke on my part about it, it is you, the Prometheans, because you have risen above every previous challenge during your young lives. I don't think you need to be reminded one more time what you're not getting for your senior year, but instead I choose to remind you of what you have brought to San Marino High School and to the community at large during your entire careers and your senior year especially. Your legacy is in no way smaller due to the 3 months you have not been able to return to campus. Rather, it is considerably larger because of what you've been able to accomplish anyway. Yes, this class is special, but that quality has nothing to do with a pandemic. One of my favorite sayings is, adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it. Whether you feel it has been worth the price of acquisition, character is a trait that you all clearly have in abundance. It is now my honor to introduce to you, and he is our keynote speaker today, and it's Oscar Wang. Oscar Wang is a 2010 graduate of San Marino High School, a 12-year attendee of San Marino schools. He says he's still most proud of the blue Carver Cool chips he earned in elementary school. He's the founder of College Together, a nonprofit that provides youth in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with a new kind of college pathway where they earn an accelerated degree and learn professional skills and a supportive job placement at the same time. Without having to choose between learning or school, they earn a degree in as little as a year and earn income and gain skills instead of taking on debt, all while in a learning community with daily mentorship and holistic support. Oscar founded College Together, much to the chagrin of his immigrant parents, who assumed that nonprofit meant that he would never take a salary. After calming their fears, he then neglected to tell them that he did not have office space and proceeded to start the organization by stealing Wi-Fi at a mix of boba tea and coffee shops. Oscar was the founder of E.M. Stanton Elementary School's Civics and Rhetoric program and the 2012 Samuel S. Fells Fellow for the School Reform Commission. His public education experience includes time at the Philadelphia Public School Notebook, the Office of the Chief Financial Officer of the School District of Philadelphia, and Superintendent William Height's Strategy Delivery Unit. Oscar is a proud graduate of Haverford College with a BA in Political Science and a minor in Education Studies. He's a member of Sunday Breakfast Club and Haverford's Alumni Association Executive Committee. He's also an alumnus of New Leaders Council. And Oscar, I say Haverford. If it's Haverford, please do me a favor and correct us because I've read that name many times. I don't know if I've ever said it. A native of San Marino, California, where Oscar points out that the Eagleton scenes in Parks and Recreation were filmed. I didn't know that. I'm going to look at that. Oscar resides in Philadelphia. He has a controversial pick for best cheesesteak in town, and there's no such thing as a controversial pick for best cheesesteak in town. They're all the best. And in his free time, he enjoys eating lots of food, reading, meeting new people, seeking out happy hours, and doing impressions of random famous people. And yes, he still frequents those boba shops. Also, though he didn't mention it here, Oscar is a proud product of San Marino High School's esteemed speech and debate program, which he passionately and successfully advocated for at a recent San Marino school board meeting. It's my pleasure to introduce to you, Oscar Wang.
Thank you so much, Mitch. I just want to note that I'm still a reader even today of your newspaper. And I try to keep up as much as possible with the ongoings in San Marino. I just want to start by really quickly saying to Superintendent Wilson that I hope that this class, especially these Prometheans, get a boba fountain next year at some point when it's safe. So I hope there's some way to be able to get them what they need. It's in the budget, good. You have the entire board here who I think just, approved. I just want to say thank you to Dr. Gates, Dr. Zhao, Superintendent Wilson, the school board for inviting me, to all the parents, to the San Marinians, and of course to all of you Prometheans, congratulations. I will not use any of the words that Mitch said not to use, so I will do my best to also stay within my time limit. The first thing that I want to note actually is that I find it really interesting that I am the keynote speaker. Mrs. Ives knows this because she was my counselor. I was not a Promethean at San Marino High School. I was not in the top 10%. I was not in the top 20%. I was not in the top 30%. I'm also not a doctor. So I also don't really understand if I'm qualified to really be here. So really, I just wanted to come here to see what this event was actually about, minus all the boba fountains this year. But in reality, I do want to share some things from my life for you guys. And just note that, even in this time of great uncertainty, it could also be one of a lot of clarity. And that all of you should feel incredibly proud, not just to be Prometheans, but also San Marinians. You're all, sounds like, going to amazing colleges next year. And I think this really is a time to be able to take a step back from your education and your path from high school to college, and to step away from annoying your parents 24/7 right now, and to really think about what you want out of your education, what you want to do with your life, and how you want to contribute to the world at large. And with that in mind, I have really just one overarching piece of advice for you today as you explore your future and think about these things. And that really is to know your worth and to know that you are worthy. And I mean that really in three ways. The first is to know that your voice is worthy as a Promethean, as someone from San Marino, as a young person. I know this does not apply in a blanket sense to everybody in this room, but especially in immigrant communities and as people of color, or even those from a small town like San Marino and a small school district like San Marino Unified, we're often told by others to put our head down, to not rock the boat, to stay out of trouble. And I'm here to encourage you, on the contrary, as you go to college, as you go into the workforce, to stand up, to rock the boat when needed, and to cause what civil rights hero John Lewis calls good trouble when needed. Your voice as Prometheans, as a San Marino graduate, is so important and it must be heard. It's important to note that sometime from now, whether on a college campus or in the workforce or even in your community, you will see injustice. You will feel discrimination. You will see something or someone that you should stand up for. You have every right, no matter the color of your skin, where your parents were born, where you went to school, what your grades are, what job you're in, your sexual orientation, or your gender identity, to be denied your voice. You should carry and have your own voice and stand up for yourself, for your community, and make yourself heard. That's number one. Number two, in terms of worth, listen to your own voice as well. Up until now, your life has largely been defined by your education. We're really fortunate to have grown up in San Marino with amazing schools, a really great school board, great superintendent, great leadership. And grades really have defined, I remember in my San Marino sense and in my school life, a lot of what I saw was my worth at that time. It's very easy to think about AP scores and SAT scores. The grades you get going from one class to another, going from grade to grade, all of that matters. But now you're going to college and you are an adult. And I know the parents on here disagree with me, but trust me, you are an adult now that you graduated or you're about to graduate from high school. You will go through internships, take various college classes, meet new people, and have different experiences. Your dreams and goals today will probably change. Your metrics of success are not going to be as easily defined as a GPA, and that's totally okay. As comedian Stephen Colbert once said, if we all stuck to our original dream, the world would be overwhelmed with cowboys and princesses. So it's okay to dream a little bit differently. Some of you who want to be lawyers will find out that you hate reading legal text. Others of you who want to become biologists will fall in love with journalism in college. Finding out what you don't want to do is as important as finding out what you want to do. And you're not a failure because you changed your mind or you found something else that you really wanted to do. Because the only person that you don't really want to disappoint is yourself. Other people can dream for you, but you're the one who has to live those dreams every single day. So go out, try new things, take a different turn, make sure that you explore things, and don't worry about friends, even your parents sometimes, Instagram, or what society says you should do. Listen to your heart, grow, be willing to change. Finally, I would say that nothing external defines your worth. You are all Prometheans here today, not because of your grades or that you do well in school or that you have the highest GPAs. You are Prometheans because of your work ethic, your ability to succeed consistently over a really long period of time that's incredibly impressive, and most importantly, what you have overcome, because nobody is perfect. What impresses me the most about all of you is that each of you have had to overcome something, be it maybe a bad breakup in middle school or high school, a teacher that you weren't too fond of, a tough stretch for your family, financial issues, a bad semester, whatever it was, you've had to overcome to maintain your level of success. It is what you've been able to endure and come back from that defines who you are. That is greatness, and that makes you truly a Promethean. Those things inside of you make who you are. Internally, they define your success. You're entering a stage of your life where in a few years, nobody's going to talk about grades or SAT scores in the same way. The world's a little bit scary, but you are better equipped than anybody else as Prometheans and as San Marinians to tackle the challenges of tomorrow because of what you've accomplished and are being recognized for today. Know your worth and understand that internally, not externally, is where you have your worth. It is inevitable that you might get a C or a D in college on a college paper. You'll hate a class that you're enrolled in. You'll even want to change colleges like me. I actually transferred schools and didn't stick with my original choice. That's all okay, and it's part of life. You, do what you want to do, listen to those that you love, and follow your own path. That's why you are a Promethean. So I just want to close in the last 30 seconds or so with a final lesson that's actually not from me. 39 years ago, Carla Domeyer started teaching at San Marino at Carver Elementary. Some of you may have had her. She was my first grade teacher many, many years ago. Well, Mrs. Domeyer, some of you have heard, is actually retiring after 39 years in San Marino. It's the longest tenured teacher right now in the school. And I actually asked her to give me some advice to pass on to you based on her 4 decades of taking care of many of us and generations of those in San Marino. Here's what she had to say. Remember your roots, she said. You come from a community of parents and teachers that value education and want you to succeed in every way, educationally and as amazing global citizens. Nothing makes me happier or will make your parents happier than to hear from you and know that you're doing well for the world and that you are happy and healthy in your personal life and your relationships with friends and your loved ones. So don't forget where you come from. Even as you change, San Marino will always be here at home. Tony's Pizza will always have a student special up until forever. But make sure, most importantly, to call your parents and your guardians, check in on your old teachers, and stay close to friends. Remember that today is a celebration of what you have achieved and as proof of what you can and must achieve tomorrow. Above all, remember that you are worthy. Remember that you are a Promethean. Congratulations, everybody.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. It's got me reaching for the San Marino flag to wave a little bit here. That's incredible. Oscar, it is the afternoon before a 3-day weekend, and I could listen to you for another 25 minutes. I don't know what you're running for, but I'm voting for it. That's amazing. You are, what an advertisement you are for San Marino High School, the school district, and the speech and debate program. That is just fantastic. Let's hear it for Oscar. Let's all give him a big
thank you.
Virtual round.
Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you, Oscar, very much. I appreciate it. Talking about long tenured teachers, that brings us to our next speaker. Molly Beckler started at San Marino High School, in the school district rather, in 1984 as a 4th grade teacher at Carver Elementary School. She taught special education later at Huntington Middle School before moving to San Marino High School, where she was a special education resource specialist. Many years ago, one of her compatriots told Molly that she was already acting like a counselor. Why not make it official? So 15 years ago, Molly became what is known as a comprehensive counselor at San Marino High School, where she quite simply has set the standard over the years, even though nothing she does can be considered standard. This is Molly's 25th Prometheans breakfast, as before becoming a counselor, she was senior class advisor, and it is her last, at least for now, as she has resigned from her position. Like these seniors, Molly said, I'm going off to find something else to do. This is a fantastic class for me to go out with. Molly and her husband Ben have 2 children, both San Marino High School graduates. Christian is a graduate of West Point and was a helicopter pilot in Iraq and Afghanistan. And Carly last week graduated from USC Medical School and is now a doctor. Molly told me that she is not wearing shoes right now and is with mixed emotions. And I introduced to you Molly Beckler. Molly, you have the great misfortune of following Oscar Wang. I'm glad I didn't have to do that, but I'm sure you're up to the task. Molly Beckler.
Thank you, Mitch. Thanks for setting me up to be in tears. I'm crying every single day right now, multiple times a day. But Oscar, I would like to say, I don't have the authority to do this, but I'm just going to take the authority to say you are now an honorary San Marino High School Promethean. Should have been then, and you are now. You were amazing in high school. You're still amazing, and you have continued to pay back to your beautiful little village of San Marino. And your words really touched me. I know they touched the seniors, and I think through the years they will realize just how meaningful your words are. So Oscar, thank you. One other, sorry Mitch, but I love Zoom meetings because I'm loving looking at the backgrounds. I've met dogs and cats and birds, and I actually want to put Lisa Link on the spot and say, which island are you on there, Lisa? She's not going to tell us.
Catalina is my guess.
She's mute.
No, I'm not on an island. I'm at home with a nice background because it's wishful thinking.
Some of the rest of you, I might be asking some questions as we go along, but I have the honor of introducing one by one the class of 2020 San Marino High School Prometheans. You guys are lucky this year because it is in a Zoom format, which means we're going in alphabetical order. That's the way I was given the list. So usually I shake it up and leave you guessing who's coming next. But so Thomas, that was your cue that it's time for you to go. So I think Dr. Zhao or Ms. Nuvali are gonna queue up some slides for us to look at. And what I'm gonna ask each of you to do once it's your turn and I've asked you to come to my podium is to give us your name, tell us where you are off to in the world of college or university or future, and then give us a fun best memory of your time at San Marino High School. So tell me when you're ready, Dr. Zhao.
Okay, so up first is Thomas.
So Thomas Agajanian, we're waiting for the slides to come up, I think.
They're up. So everyone.
Oh, okay, I've got a different screen. I'm sorry. So Thomas Agajanian, whose last name I love to say, and I have loved talking racing with you. Come on up to the podium and tell us about yourself. Are you there, Thomas? Unmute yourself.
So I do see his name here, and he
was there. I saw.
Sorry about that. I had my actual microphone was mute too. Sorry.
Okay.
So my name's Thomas Agajanian. Next year I will be attending Texas Christian University, where my 3 other siblings have attended. And what was the third thing? Short-term
favorite memory of high school.
Favorite memory. Favorite memory. I'm trying to think. There's so many. I have to say that the picture right here, Peter Pan, that was honestly a blast. And yeah, I've had the opportunity to be in many memorable things, but if I really had to pick one, it'd be Peter Pan.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you.
Our next Promethean, Danielle Anderson. Is Danielle with us?
Hi.
There she is.
Next year, I will be going to Westmont College in Santa Barbara, and my favorite high school memory was homecoming night set up with ASB.
Thank you, Danielle. We wish you well. Pooja Balaji.
Hi, I'm Pooja, and next year I'm going to be going to Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, in Boston. And my favorite memory is probably all the times that I had in cross country the past 4 years. That team that I've run so many miles with is also so fun to hang out with outside of the track and field, so probably cross country.
Thank you, Pooja. How many students do you know who become a TA in a Calc BC class just because they have an extra period and want to have some fun? I know one, and he's our next Promethean, Mr. Alexander Chen.
Hi, I'm Alex. Next year I'll be going to UC Berkeley, and my favorite high school memory was going to winter formal this year.
Thank you, Alexander. I will miss you. Our next Promethean, not only amazingly intellectual, but also amazingly creative, Miss Sajin Choi.
Hi, my name is Sajin, and I'll be attending UC Berkeley next year. And my favorite memory from high school is same as Danielle, when we got to decorate our school campus the day before homecoming, and it was special for me because one of my best friends who is not in ASB stayed till 10 p.m. helping me decorate.
Thank you, Sajin. All the best to you. Mr. Brian Chu, who I will also miss in my office.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brian. Next year, I'm going to be attending Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland. And one of my favorite high school memories was definitely one of the robotics competitions that I went to. Last year, I had the opportunity to travel to Idaho. Never thought I'd do that. And I had the chance to meet a lot of great teams from across the US and around the world. So that was really fun.
Thank you, Brian. And I can tell you that all of us who had the chance to go to Idaho came back with some really fun memories. Our next Promethean, Gabriella, otherwise known as Ella Chuang.
Hi, I'm Ella. So I was gonna say, I'm going to University of Washington in Seattle, and I was gonna say that my favorite memory is of homecoming setup, which seems to be a very popular ASB memory. But I can mix it up and say playing on the golf team. It's one of my favorite memories, just all 4 years total.
Thank you, Ella, and something you can do the rest of your life. All right, our next Promethean gets an extra question, and that is Lauren Eriksen. The first thing we all want to know, Lauren, where are you going? You're in the car.
We're actually on our way to go to our cousin's house, but we're parked. Don't worry, we're not actually driving right now.
I just like that you have your seatbelt on, that's all.
Yeah. But I'm going to University of Pittsburgh. I have my pit jacket on. And my favorite memory would probably be volleyball season last year because of how far we made it in CIF and the accomplishments that we made that haven't been done for so many years.
Thank you, Lauren. Safe travels, but stay with us. All right, our next Promethean, Marcus Gomez.
Hi, my name is Marcus. Next year, I'm going to be going to Pasadena City College, so not far from here. And my favorite high school memory has to be planning prom last year. I spent one whole year planning the greatest event of my life with the greatest people, and I wouldn't change it.
Thank you, Marcus. Someone else I shared memories with in Boise, Idaho, Miss Kimia Hasibi.
Hi, I'm going to be going to Caltech, and my favorite memory would probably be the 4 years I spent in robotics, because I learned quite a lot and I had a lot of fun doing it, and it was just a great experience that I didn't think I would have in high school.
And Kimia, you're close enough, no excuse for not visiting your parents.
Yeah.
Our next Promethean, second one in his family, someone I like to call Mr. Hindle, Joe Hindle.
Hi, I am Joe. I will be attending Kenyon College in Ohio next year, and one of my favorite memories from high school was being in Peter Pan. It was a lot of fun, and the shows turned out really well, so yeah.
Thank you, Joe. Our next Promethean, Carolyn Holt.
Hey everyone, I'm headed to Chapman University next year. One of my favorite memories looking back on high school was acting in my freshman year one-act production. I played 2 leads and I had a blast. It was really fun.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Carolyn. Olivia Kuhn, you are next, please.
Hi, I'm Olivia Kuhn. In the fall, I'm hopefully heading to the American University of Paris if the travel restrictions get lifted and if it's safe, with the hope of transferring to USC. And my favorite high school memory is performing in Dance Cetra with Dance Company for 3 years. And Peter Pan as well.
Thank you, Olivia. We wish you well. Safe travels. All right, next Promethean makes me laugh every time we have a conversation. Lisa Liu.
Hi, my name is Lisa Liu, and I committed to the University of Pennsylvania. I'm still waiting for Princeton to see how that works out. And one of my favorite high school memories was Yosemite, because something that Oscar said earlier that I really agreed with is that adversity reveals character. And in a lot of like my high school journeys, either it be in tobacco control or sports, it's like taking small steps in the snow, like facing challenges and eventually reaching where I want to go. So taking small steps is something I learned through high school.
Thank you, Lisa. All right, next we have Jordan Marquez.
Hi, I'm going to go to Cornell University, and my favorite memory from high school was when I was a part of the color guard team. I felt like it was such a great bonding experience, and just the thrill of performing on stage was really nice.
Thank you, Jordan. And I don't know birth order, but we did it in alphabetical. So next we'd like to hear from Promethean Olivia Marquez.
Yeah, she's the older one, so that's correct. So I'm Olivia Marquez. I will be going to LMU for film production, hopefully to
one day go to work for Disney. And my favorite memory was also the color guard, the last performance we did for Coexist, and then also Miss Davidson's Pancake Day.
Thank you. Susie Moffitt, you're up next, please.
Okay. Do I really say that much? I don't, okay. So I will be attending the University of Michigan, and my favorite memory in high school is actually being on the track and cross country team, except not running, because I hate that. It's just managing, handing out bibs, doing all kind of like the busy work, but it makes me feel like I'm part of a team and contributing without having to do running. So.
Thank you. Jolene Nesnes, you are our next Promethean. To the podium.
Hi, I'm Jolene Nesnes. I will be attending UC San Diego next year for biological sciences. My favorite high school memory would probably be being part of Newsies my junior year. I loved working with that group, and there was so much love and energy, and the dynamic was really, really great. And I will remember that forever.
Thank you, Jolene. We wish you well. Mr. Austin Nguyen.
I will be attending UCLA in the fall, and one of my favorite high school memories is singing in choir these last 4 years.
Thank you, Austin. Good luck to you. Someone that's looking to just take over the world of Mitch Lehman, that would be our amazing editor-in-chief, Skylar Pack.
Hi, I'll be going to USC, and one of my favorite high school memories was being on the track team. The track became my second home, and it gave me a group of people who became family.
Thank you, Skylar. Alan Fung, step up to the podium, please.
I'm Alan. I'm going to go to Johns Hopkins. Favorite memory was 3 years of science team.
Thank you, and a man of many, many words, as you just proved to us, Alon. Thank you. Maybe a future president or something, who knows, but please change the world, Enzo. You're on your way. Enzo Repetto.
Hey there. So I'm Enzo. I'll be going to NYU next year as an MLK scholar, and I would say my favorite memory of the past 4 years has to be doing a debate tournament, going to the state for a debate with my brother Marco. So you don't really get to work too much with your siblings, I would say, in San Marino. So I really was glad I had that opportunity.
Thank you, Enzo. All right, next one made me scream when I was watching the Rose Parade and said, I know her. Ava Slocum, walking by the Huntington float. Ava, you're next.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am going to be going to Columbia along with the awesome Connie Tran, and I've been in drama all 4 years, and I think my favorite memory from high school was writing and directing my own one act last year.
Congratulations, Ava. We wish you all the best. Someone that spent a lot of time in my office, and it was all wonderful, Miss Connie Tran.
Oh my god, I can't believe they used the Apple quote. But hi, I'm Connie. I'm also going to Columbia, as Ava said earlier. And I think one of my favorite memories is traveling across the country with speech and debate, and just going to a lot of tournaments and having a lot of really fun experiences.
Thank you, Connie. Ashley Wang.
Hi, I'm Ashley. Next year, I believe I will be going to UC Davis. I just recently got off the wait list, but I still have yet to commit. But my favorite high school memory would have to be this year's ASB retreat. It was so much fun, and it was a great way to end the summer with the people that I love to work with most. So.
Thank you, Ashley. And last but not least, just by order of the alphabet, Anna Zhao.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna. I will be going to UC Berkeley, hoping to study psychology. And my favorite memory of high school was, just like Lisa's, going to Yosemite. And we were actually in the same camping group going up to the mountains and camping in the snow for a couple of days. So that was extremely fun.
Thank you, Anna. So Prometheans, I hope I have different screens going on here, and I think I got you all. I would like to give a virtual or live, whatever we can, huge round of applause to this year's Prometheans, San Marino class of 2020. You are all, I like to say, Prometheans at San Marino High School, you are the cream of the crop. You are the best and the brightest. And we could say that about like everybody in San Marino, but you have been recognized by faculty, by counselors, by administration as people that have made a difference. And just listening to you, working with you, you're gonna change the world. And it's a very cliche thing. It's a graduation thing to say, oh, hey, go make the world a better place. But you guys have just lived, I don't even know, 9 weeks, years, a millennium of a situation that no one has ever gone through. And you're learning to deal with adversity. You're learning to deal with heartbreak and disappointment. And what I've seen is you're dealing with it beautifully. You are positive, you're creative, you're coming up with ideas, and you're going, what can we do? You're moving forward. I've had the opportunity to sit in on several committees the last few weeks with several of you, both through, year-end planning and SAB and ASB and this and that. And I am constantly inspired by every single one of you. And here I go, I cry all the time, but just listening to all of you coming up with ideas and coming up with what is best, and not just for you, but for your classmates. This class has been amazing because you guys really do like each other. You get along, you're positive, you're happy. And through all of this, I've seen the videos, I've seen the pictures, I've seen the postings of the drive-by birthday parties and the social distancing get-togethers and the messages in chalk on your sidewalks. And all I can say is just keep going, go forward. Whatever this world's bringing us, you're gonna be just fine, you're ready. And as you go, San Marino is a little village like no other. For all of my years in San Marino, I have never seen a place on earth like San Marino, California, where you wrap your arms around each other and you take care of each other. And when you leave, and Oscar talked about this, when you leave, you take a piece of San Marino with you and you leave a big piece of yourself back in San Marino. And whether it becomes your home forever or not, it will always be your home. So I will encourage you to keep going out and doing great things. Be kind to one another. Always use good manners. That's the mother in me, is to use your pleases and thank you. Sometimes let that person signaling in front of you on the freeway or in front of you in line at the grocery store, if they have 2 items and you have a basket full, whatever it is, you guys are gonna do great things. And all I can say is we wish you all the very best. Congratulations again, not just on graduation, but on Prometheans. I can speak on behalf of the counselors and say that we have loved every minute of working with every single one of you. Our best to all of you. Please stay in touch as you can. I'm going to give a little plug. Watch your emails and share the word with your classmates. Counselors are planning little senior send-off. Your teachers have had office hours for several weeks. We're going to have some office hours of our own next week if you'd like to join in so we can just see you one more time, because it's sure nice to see your smiling faces. So as usual, I have talked too much, but I just want to congratulate you all, thank you all, and wish you all the very, very best. And I think with that, Dr. Chow or Mitch Lehman, I think we're.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Beckler, for all of your words. Thank you for everyone who spoke. Thank you for family, who came to celebrate with us. That concludes our program today. And we hope that you have a wonderful 3-day weekend.
Congratulations, Prometheans.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Vote for Oscar.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Congratulations. Bye. Great job, Oscar.
Bye-bye. Congrats.
Okay. You